A fire ignites in Ouagadougou. It was a blistering afternoon in Ouagadougou, the heart of Burkina Faso, when President Ibrahim Traoré stepped up to the podium. The room buzzed with anticipation, journalists scribbling notes, cameras flashing, and a crowd of citizens hanging on to every moment. The air was thick with tension, not just because of the heat, but because something big was about to happen. Rumors had been swirling for days about a leaked message, allegedly from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, warning African leaders to stay in line or face consequences. True or not, those words had lit a fuse, and Traoré was about to set the continent ablaze with his response. He didn't need a script. His eyes burned with conviction as he leaned into the microphone, his voice steady but fierce. "We are no longer colonies," he declared. "We are sovereign nations. If any foreign leader thinks they can threaten Africa into submission, they are gravely mistaken." The room fell silent, the weight of his words sinking in. This wasn't just a speech, it was a battle cry, a declaration of independence for a continent that had been exploited for far too long. Traoré's words didn't stop there. He looked straight into the camera, as if staring down every foreign power that ever dared to meddle in African affairs. "Let me make this crystal clear, Mr. Netanyahu," he said, his voice rising. "Burkina Faso does not answer to Tel Aviv. We don't answer to Washington. We don't answer to any force that thinks it can buy us or bomb us into doing what they want." The crowd erupted, their cheers echoing through the streets of Ouagadougou. This was more than a moment, it was the beginning of a movement. A continent tired of being a pawn. For centuries, Africa has been treated like a chessboard by foreign powers. From the colonial era, when European nations carved up the continent like a pie, to the modern day, where resources like gold, diamonds, and oil are siphoned off by multinational corporations, the story has been the same. Africa's wealth for someone else's gain. Even after independence, the meddling never stopped. Foreign bases dotted the landscape. Economic deals left African nations in debt, and threats, subtle or overt, kept leaders in line. But Traoré's speech signaled a shift. Africa was done playing by someone else's rules. The alleged message from Netanyahu, whether real or not, was the spark that ignited Traoré's fury. It wasn't just about Israel, it was about every nation that had ever tried to bully Africa into submission. "They think they can scare us with sanctions, bombs, or angry words," Traoré said, his voice steady but laced with defiance. "They're wrong. Africa is waking up, and we're not afraid anymore." The speech that shook the world. The room in Ouagadougou was electric as Traoré continued. "For too long, foreign powers have treated Africa like their playground," he said. "They've taken our resources, drawn lines on our maps, and told us how to live. They expect us to bow our heads, to say, 'Yes, sir.' But I'm not that kind of leader. Burkina Faso is not that kind of nation. And Africa is not that kind of continent." He paused, letting the words sink in. The crowd was on its feet, their energy feeding into his resolve. "If you come for one of us, you come for all of us," he warned. "Africa is not yours to threaten. We are the children of kings and queens, warriors and builders. We are the future, and we're ready to fight for it." The speech wasn't just a moment of defiance, it was a call to action. Traoré spoke of the Sahel Alliance, a partnership between Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, designed to protect each other and build a future where Africa calls the shots. "We're saying no to foreign bases on our soil," he declared. "No to deals that leave our people poor while others get rich. No to threats that try to scare us into submission." A message that went viral. What happened next was nothing short of extraordinary. Traoré's speech didn't stay confined to that room in Ouagadougou. Within hours, clips of his words were spreading across social media platforms like X, Telegram, and WhatsApp. Young people in Mali, farmers in Niger, students in Guinea, and activists in South Africa shared the video, their hearts swelling with pride. Hashtags like #AfricaWillNotBow and #WeStandWithTraoré began trending, turning Traoré's words into a rallying cry for a continent ready to reclaim its destiny. In Mali, Colonel Assimi Goïta shared the clip on his social media, adding his own words of support. In Guinea, Mamadi Doumbouya echoed Traoré's sentiment. He's with me. Across Telegram groups, people began calling Traoré a voice for the continent, a symbol of defiance against foreign control. His speech wasn't just a moment, it was a movement, one that resonated with millions who had grown tired of being silenced. The silence that spoke volumes. Interestingly, Israel's government didn't respond. No official statement, no rebuttal, nothing. That silence was deafening. It suggested they weren't prepared for an African leader to stand up so boldly, to call them out in front of the world. Traoré had broken the mold of the quiet African leader who plays nice to avoid trouble. He wasn't here to make friends. He was here to tell the truth, no matter who it made uncomfortable. The Western media, too, largely ignored the story. It didn't fit their narrative of Africa as a weak, divided continent dependent on foreign aid. But that didn't stop the message from spreading. Every share, every hashtag, every retweet was rewriting the story of Africa. It was a story of strength, unity, and defiance, a story the world couldn't ignore. The Sahel Alliance, a new vision for Africa. At the heart of Traoré's speech was the Sahel Alliance, a partnership that's more than just a political agreement. It's a vision for a new Africa, one where nations stand together as equals, protecting each other and building a future free from foreign interference. We're building schools where our children learn our history, not someone else's, Traoré said. Hospitals that save lives, not empty buildings. Economies that lift up our people, not foreign companies that take our wealth. The Sahel Alliance is just the beginning. Traoré dreams of a day when all of Africa, north, south, east, and west, stands united. We're not just a bunch of countries anymore, he said. We're a family, and when one of us is threatened, we all stand together. Why this moment matters. Why did Traoré choose to speak out so boldly? Because silence is no longer an option. For too long, African leaders have been expected to stay quiet, to negotiate behind closed doors, to avoid making waves. But Traoré is different. He's not just fighting for Burkina Faso, he's fighting for every African who dreams of a free, proud, and united continent. This isn't about me, he said toward the end of his speech. This is about our children, our future, our dignity. I believe in Africa. I believe in our strength, our history, our dreams. And I know I'm not alone. His words struck a chord. Messages poured in from young people, elders, mothers, and fathers across the continent. They called him a hero, a symbol, a voice for the voiceless. But Traoré doesn't see himself that way. I'm just a man from Burkina Faso fighting for my people, he said. But if my words give others hope, if they remind us who we are, then I'll keep speaking. A call to action. Traoré ended his speech with a challenge, not just to foreign powers, but to Africans everywhere. This is our moment, he said. Don't be afraid. Don't let anyone tell you we can't do this. Share this message. Stand up in your communities. Demand your rights. Support leaders who fight for you, not for foreign interests. Together, we can build an Africa that's strong, proud, and free. His words weren't just rhetoric, they were a blueprint for change. Across Africa, people are answering the call. From the streets of Bamako to the markets of Niamey, from the universities of Conakry to the townships of Johannesburg, Africans are standing up, speaking out, and demanding their place in the world. The future of Africa. Traoré's speech wasn't reckless. It was necessary. It was a reminder that Africa isn't just here to survive, it's here to thrive. It's a continent with a rich history, a vibrant present, and a limitless future. The Sahel Alliance is just the first step toward a broader vision of African unity, where nations work together to protect their sovereignty and build a better tomorrow. To the leaders who still think they can control Africa, Traoré's message was clear. Your time is up. Africa is rising, and it's ready to fight for its place in the world. To his fellow Africans, his message was even clearer. This is our moment. Let's seize it.